Alright guys, let's do a little bit of a discussion about 5 tips I have for you before you go to your nursing clinical in nursing school. What got me started on this is I saw a commercial for the Camaro for the Cure, which is a Jeff Gordon charity where he gives away a Camaro, and I actually did my clinicals at Jeff Gordon. It's a hospital in Concord, North Carolina. Had to drive like an hour and a half to get down there every day that I had clinical, but I sure did do mine at Jeff Gordon. And so seeing this made me remember how hard it actually was in clinicals and how much you actually had to do and had to know in getting ready for nursing clinicals. So I decided to give you my 5 tips for nursing clinicals. Nursing school clinicals, I should say. Number 1, probably most important. Number 1, go ahead and know your meds. Know everything about your meds. Know the class, the action, the onset, the offset, the half-life, the side effects, the whatever else you can think of. The how many milligrams is too many milligrams, how few milligrams is too few milligrams, and why these milligrams are this many milligrams, or maybe they're not even in milligrams. Why they're not in milligrams, or how do you give this medication? Is it given orally in a tablet, or IV in a push, or IV in a bag of saline, or however they're given? Know your meds. Know how, why, when, where, who, what, all of these things. If you feel like you know too much information about these meds, your instructors will probably know more, and they'll probably ask you about the one thing you don't know about, and if you just don't know that med, they will send you home. I have seen plenty of students get sent home, and once you get sent home, that might be the end of you going to nursing school. So don't be that student. Know your meds inside and out. Know them. That's the best I can give you, and know them. Don't chance it and say, "Oh, I'll learn them when I get there." Nope. Don't. Just know your meds. Know them. Number 2, probably not the most important thing, but definitely something that you need to know, is you are about to work as that CNA that whole day with whoever you got as a patient on your caseload. Yes, when I was a CNA at the hospitals and we had students come in, I loved it because I didn't have to do anything and I got paid for it. But when you're the nursing student and you are the nursing student who has an assignment and you have a CNA, guess what? That CNA is probably going to seek you out and tell you something like, "Hey, Chris, 13 pooped in the bed, have fun." You'd be like, "Oh, thank you, Mr. or Mrs. CNA, for giving me this information while I'm trying to study my meds." Yeah, that's right. As a nursing student, you are about to do all the CNA work. Now, I'll probably have somebody disagree with me. Somebody's probably going to say, "Chris, no, when I was in nursing school, we did not have to do any CNA work." And I will probably have other people agree with me and say, "Chris, we had to do all of the CNA work." Yes, I was in the group where we had to do all of the CNA work. My nursing instructors, every single one of them, and I had like 5 of them, they all said, "You are doing all of the patient care." That's meds, assessments, CNA work, getting their meals, everything. That's all on you. You are doing it all. That's what my instructors told me, and I would probably agree with to say that most nursing students would probably be in that same boat. Yes, we did all the CNA work. So get yourself ready. You're about to do some CNA work, and it's going to suck. Yes, it is. Number 3. I keep holding up different fingers. 3. Whatever. Number 3. Be early. Be there as early as possible. And you're probably going to see someone there who's also there early. Go ahead and trade notes with them. You probably have the same meds. As sometimes you're on the same type of units and you have the same type of meds. You may or may not have disease processes that you have to know that person may or may not have already had, and compare notes with that individual. If you get there early, everyone will be in the same mindset. You may even be able to get report early. Everyone will be in the same mindset as to, let's get ready for this. and they're probably in that same sort of panicky, nervous state that you're going to be in as well. Get there early. See if you can calm your nerves down by just familiarizing yourself with the unit. Go ahead and talk to other people that are in your class with you, as they may or may not have different notes that you have, and they may or may not be able to help you. You may or may not be able to help them with things. I will say showing up early benefited me tremendously, just for the fact that I could compare notes with people, in certain disease processes. And maybe somebody over here knew something more about, let's just say, diabetes that I didn't even know. And you can compare that. And, maybe they had a patient that was on Levemir or Lantus or, Novolog. And then you can compare the differences in insulins, because that goes right back to the meds. You do not want to confuse a fast-acting with a long-acting, especially in front of your instructor, as they're going to make you go over these things before you give them. And if you compare notes with your fellow students, maybe they've seen these meds, and maybe they'll help you with things like this. Show up early. You're going to talk to each other. Show up early. Get yourself ready to be on the unit, and, be ready and be ready. Number 4, go ahead and, I'm going to say, dress appropriately. Our instructors gave us a parameter where we had to have like white shoes and the uniform that they provided. And I will go ahead and say that uniform, it was a unisex uniform, and it just seemed to fit terribly on everybody. So go ahead and learn your uniform, and if you have to make adjustments, do that early. Dress appropriately. If you have to have, the white shoes, as I said, be sure that you're ready for someone to poop all over you with C. diff, and make sure you don't have like a mesh shoe on, that you have like a closed shoe on. And be sure that your shoes are comfortable, because you're about to be on them all day. Feet care is very important in nursing, as you stand or walk on those hard floors all day, every day. You don't get to sit down a lot. Go ahead and dress appropriately. Make sure everything fits and is comfortable. Those uniforms that they gave us were terrible, and everyone else is probably the same thing. Those uniforms are terrible, and I didn't like them. They just didn't fit good. It was like you just couldn't move. You just couldn't. It was, it just wasn't. Number 5, I'll give you number 5, and this is, I'm just going to say don't. Number 5 is don't. When you see a nurse on the unit eating at the nurse's station, don't eat at the nurse's station. When you see a nurse that has the mesh shoes, don't wear the mesh shoes. Wear what your instructor wants you to wear. When you see a nurse drop a whole cup of pills, look around, make sure nobody's watching, put them all back in that cup, and then give them to the patient. Don't do that. When you see a nurse chewing gum on the unit, don't do that. Don't. I know that these nurses have picked up bad habits. I've definitely picked up bad habits myself on the unit. One of the ones that I know that I think about probably once a week is putting my hand under my glove to take my gloves off. Don't do that. Don't pick up the bad habits that you see other nurses doing. Do it the way your instructor wants you to do it. I've already passed school. It's just like I tell my children. I've already gone to school. I've already passed this grade. Yes, I'm probably doing it wrong. Yes, I'll go ahead and agree with you for that. But there's probably a reason behind it. If you see me eating at the nurse's station, that's probably because I finally got to eat. Or that nurse finally got to eat. Don't do that. Your instructors give you plenty of time and plenty of things to do for you not to pick up the nursing bad habits that you see the nurses do. Simply take note of it and then tell your instructor about it later, as you'll probably have like a group meeting and you'll probably talk about, oh, I saw Nurse Chris drop a whole cup full of pills, put it in the cup, and then give it to the patient. If you see me do that, don't do that. I'm sure out there's people saying like, who would drop a whole cup of pills and then give it to somebody, Don't do that. Don't pick up on the bad habits that you see the nurses doing. Just don't do it. Nurses will give you tips, and sometimes they'll tell you something. They'll be like, now you're supposed to, but this is how we. If they say you're supposed to, do it you're supposed to way. Don't do it well we do it way. Do it the way you're supposed to do it. Do it the way your instructor wants it done. If you need clarification, go to your instructor about clarification. Don't do it the way you see the nursing staff do it. I hope these are good tips that will help you along the way. If you like this video, check out this one over here. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe over there. I hope it helps. Thank you much.